With the Mayan calendar just around the corner, and with all of the hysteria and misinformation regarding Mayan prophecy, you might also see my earlier video on this subject. We decided to go ahead and weigh in one more time and explain to people just what's going on.
Now, one thing that really annoys the heck out of me is this whole business with the end of the Mayan calendar. The Christians try to hook it up to them and make it about them, and it's all about their prophecy, doomsday. No, not what it's about. It is not necessarily anything to do about the ancient Sumerians and the planet Nibiru. Again, we're putting a lot of things onto it that just aren't there. The fragment that we have, the fragments, there's now two, simply talk at the end of the Mayan calendar. It's a countdown to when the sky brothers or the sky gods would return. And quite frankly, I hope they're right. You know, we need somebody to come down here and establish some civilized means of living for us, because we are so still living in the jungle. I don't think all the laws in the world are going to change our nature. Clothes, gizmos, gadgets, they don't change our brains. They don't change our behavior. We are still a predatory creature. We encourage it. Sports, free market, competition. It's not about cooperation. It's about competition. And we've got to get past that. And I think we're running out of time to do it.
A quick footnote at this point, however, I want to point out, if any of you happen to have seen or intend to see the National Geographic on the subject of the Mayan prophecy, I have some really bad news for you. I was particularly disappointed with their presentation. They showed the Mayan calendar remnants that we have and even said, well, this guy knows how to interpret them, but they never interpreted directly the writing that were on these stones. They showed underwater caves. They showed reenactments of portraying just how vicious and primitive these people were, rather than focusing on the incredible accuracy over such a large time period that the Mayan calendar reflects. So, shame on you, National Geographic. Either you sold out or you're just afraid of being too controversial, because we've been told exactly what those things say. And the new tile that they found only confirms that he, she, or it arrives. Now, I got into one heated debate with a young fellow about whether or not a calendar is a countdown or not, and he was adamant that, well, no, and this is kind of the bandwagon everybody's jumping on, the calendar is not the end of the world. It doesn't end, but it's a cyclical thing. It ends and then it begins a new year, or a new Baktun long count cycle. So he tried to argue that it wasn't a countdown to anything, especially the end of the world. Well, he's partly right. A calendar is obviously cyclical, because what it counts down to is the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. So it is a countdown. There's no way around this. It tells us, it counts down the days to when we should plant, when we should celebrate our religious holidays, any number of things that we put on that calendar. We use the calendar to count down to that day or that period. One thing that's not being discussed that I have heard at all yet is the punctuality of the arrival of these interstellar guests. When we say a calendar, okay, it tells us, when it's the time to plant. Well, it doesn't say May 16th at 3:25 in the morning. It's not quite that specific. In the same way, if someone says, okay, well, I'm gonna come visit you next Thanksgiving, they don't say, I'm gonna be there, next November 24th at 6:05 and 23 seconds, in the afternoon. It doesn't work that way. There are all kinds of variables that can affect the arrival time of guests. And in the same way, I suspect that this counting down to December 21st is a little silly, in that we are expecting these guests to be extremely punctual, and that may not be a wise position to take. Rather, we should say, okay, this is about the time that these people are, they might already be here, or they may be a little bit late. So this focusing on this one particular day is kind of a useless pursuit. What we're really looking for, according to the Mayan texts, is the arrival of the sky gods. And do we expect them exactly on that day, at that minute, at that hour? I don't think so. If Zachariah Sitchin were anything but this mousy little bookworm guy, who, if anything, is going to put you to sleep rather than try to convince you of some colossal scam. This is not his material. He's a linguist. Nibiru is not a name that he just made up. He's not some fantasy role-playing nerd. He's a bookworm nerd. I mean, he's just fine. There's some videos of him on the internet. Find him. You'll see what I'm talking about. This guy is no showman. Nothing like David Icke or Alex Jones or some of these guys. He's a mousy little guy.
The concept of a king, of a parliament, or an advisory council. Anything you can think of, any aspect of a high civilization, had its first in Sumer, going back, as I said, 6,000 years ago.
And he's one of only a handful who can interpret the ancient cuneiform writing of the Sumerians, whom we've only recently received a very rich archive of materials in Nineveh, the library there that was discovered. And all of these things that Sitchin is writing about, he's just telling you what they thought. These were the Sumerians' ideas. And what Sitchin is freaking out about is that they're talking about things they couldn't possibly have known. Absolutely could not have possibly known for that time in our history. Things about the solar system, the outer planets, for example, the number of planets, and so on. Now, back to Planet X. I have old textbooks that talk about Planet X before it was turned into a joke. And that was exactly how we found Pluto, was searching for that mathematically calculated planet out there that is perturbing the outer orbits of Uranus and Neptune. And they knew that Pluto wasn't it because Pluto was too small of a body to affect those outer planets gravitationally the way something obviously was. And this search has gone on. Where the heck is it? Now, there are some reports that I've seen with my own eyes that are discussed in other YouTube videos where NASA has come out revealing that, oh, hey, we found this hot body with our IR satellite, and boom, and then nothing more. I mean, the global solar environment is changing almost on a daily basis. Darn if it just don't make you wonder. And it's certainly, we know, given War of the Worlds, how prone people can be to panic, and that it would more than likely be the position of the military. I don't say government because they're just a bunch of buffoons that come and go, but the military who has career generals and who actually are, in my opinion, run the show at the behest of their benefactors, of course, understand the necessity to keep things quiet for absolutely as long as possible. If this is a reoccurring cycle, and the Mayans knew something of, maybe this is why the sky gods are returning, maybe there is a geological or some other cycle that's going to bring some bad news, and maybe they are coming to help. Maybe they're coming to harvest before the monsoons hit. Who knows? But there seems to be an awful lot coming out in history, in archaeology, in Bosnia, in Turkey, in Easter Island, just all of this, what's being referred to as hidden history, hidden only now in the fact that it has not been fully endorsed by academia. So keep your eyes open, folks. There is something coming, and now, next year there's going to be a comet, half as bright as the sun, swinging by. Something really weird is going on here, and you know, it's up to future generations to try to pick up where we leave off, if it is our demise coming. Pray not, but be prepared. Always be prepared as best we can. Peace.